A warm welcome to you all. This is Cultural Studies in Focus. We are in the lush green paradise of the courtyard of the Faculty of Humanities and Education. I'm privileged today to be sitting beside, talking to one of the eminent professors from this faculty. I speak of no other than the distinguished Professor Emerita Coverley.
What a way for
How
that
you doing?
lyric. What a way for that lyric.
I try to be like you, Coverley.
I'm doing good. It's a pleasure to be here, and I think it's a brilliant idea.
Thank
But
you.
this faculty of humanities at the University of Education and University of West Indies through the Institute of Carbon Studies to be pushing the value of cultural studies.
Thank you so very
Happy
much.
to be part of the process.
And you look so beautiful, I must tell you.
Thank you. Oh well, I have to
Lovely.
big up my designer.
Yes.
It's Brenda Winstead from
Okay.
Jamali African Wear.
All right.
An African American designer. She goes to the continent of Africa to source her fabrics.
Right.
She's just brilliant.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. So today, listeners, we are talking about our most significant Jamaican icon. Some persons, most Jamaicans would contend that this person ought to be a national hero. We're going to hear more about who we affectionately call Miss Lou from no other than Professor Carol Cooper. So, Carol, who was Miss Lou?
Miss Lou,
Yes,
Louise
affectionately
Bennett,
called, right.
Louise Bennett Coverley, because she was married to Eric Coverley. Is a brilliant. I say is because her legacy continues.
Continue.
As far as
Right.
I'm concerned, she's still alive.
Right.
She's one of the Jamaicans who recognize the value of our Jamaican language. And she always did her best to help us to appreciate its value. One of the most entertaining anecdotes that Professor Morris, who is the Bennett scholar, documents is in one of his books where he did her selected poems and he wrote introduction. He talks about her giving us, performing a poem, and somebody in the audience says, "And that your mother sent you a school for?" And the joke is the person is using the very same language that he feels is inappropriate.
Right,
But
right.
there's a whole idea there that school now
Yes.
is supposed to take you away
From
from your home language,
Yes,
from
yes.
your yard language.
Yes, yes.
School is to inculcate Englishness.
Yes.
And so if you are still using this yard language,
Yes.
that means
You're not ready yet.
You're not ready.
So your parents waste the money.
Yes, and I will never forget my stepmother, Pansy Cooper. She said, when she heard my inaugural lecture, she said, English is our street language,
Yes.
and Jamaican is our home language.
Heart
And she
language,
said,
yes.
Jamaican coming back here when yard closed,
Yes.
and then English now,
Yes.
go to road dress up.
Just of
So
for
this is
it.
part of the problem that we think
Yeah.
of English as the language of sophistication and the language of authority and so
Right.
on, and we don't big up our local language the way we should, because English can be a language of authority and respectability.
Yeah.
Yes, but so is Jamaica.
Right. Yeah. Well, let me just for our listeners, for young listeners
Yes.
who didn't grow up in the time of ring ding. That
Yes.
kind of, I grew up in ring ding time, but the younger listeners know then what time period we're talking about now, and who influenced her to
Yes.
the extent that she was able to set this kind of paradigm for
Yes.
us today.
Well, remember, we recently celebrated our 100th birthday. So
Right.
you know that, some of the young people now
Right.
can't even remember people who are 25, much more people who were celebrating their 100th anniversary, even though she died before that. But she was somebody coming up who was influenced, I believe, by writers like Claude McKay,
Eh,
because Claude McKay wrote
yes.
poems in Jamaican. The
Right.
interesting thing is that it was this expatriate who got it into writing English, writing in Jamaican, because he was writing his English poems, and he said to him, you must use the local language.
Mhm.
And he reluctantly started to write in Jamaican. And he did constant ballads, ballads about the constabulary force, because he was in
Right.
it, And so she would have been an influence on Miss Lou.
Right.
But also, I think, as she said, she grew up listening to people who were talking, using the language, using the proverbs and so on. And she realized that they were speaking with power and authority. And she could understand why the
Right.
language was devalued.
Mhm.
And so it is really recognizing that our own had power that made her realize that this is something, a language that she should hold on to.
Right.
So we're talking about the 40s and 50s
Yes.
coming up.
Right.
Long time when, she tried to write for the cleaner and they would take her on. How she started to write for the cleaner, some expatriates at a party invited her to perform.
Right.
And it went over so big that the next day the dealer called and asked her if she could start submitting some posters. And then it takes foreigners to recognize the value of us before some people like the greener. I think the greener has come a long way.
Yes.
I know, right? Every once a month I write a column in Jamaica.
Right.
But that is just because I terrorize them.
Yes.
Because at first they wouldn't allow me to write in Jamaican.
Yes.
Even though I was just in the 1 or 2 sentences.
Yes. Yes.
But in the end, they end up now stuck with a whole column every month in Jamaica. And that is because I know that our language is valuable and I'm grateful to Miss Lou for setting the pace and, giving us the sense of the value of our language.
Right. So the 1940s and 50s now then will also be a period of decolonization. That's probably also tied into it as well. We have to decolonize.
But you see, part of the problem is you have political decolonization, but people don't understand that there's a cultural side to decolonization. And this is where the Institute of Guidance is so important.
Right.
Because what we have to recognize is that culture is a fundamental element of identity.
Right.
African, a larger African derived society.
Right.
Most of the people in Jamaica is black people.
Yes.
We have to recognize that decolonization has to mean affirming the value of who we are as African people. Because the whole colonial education system has taught us to devalue Africans, not the black or good. And Africa, each time I say, had a poem about African savages, monkey, running up and down like monkey in the bush. That was a product of
the period.
And then he graduated out of that nonsense.
Yes.
So
man. What I find so interesting now that my first taste of this load was ring ding.
Yes.
On a Saturday boy, my mother, we had to watch ring ding and played it and Margie while playing and
now that name ring ding relates to entertainment that people used to do in rural Jamaica. Ring ding. And Miss Lou transformed it on stage, took it into the TV studio, and turned it into a wonderful Saturday morning program where children learn the culture because, you grow up in a society where a lot of what we knew keeps getting lost. Because if you don't actively teach it, it will get lost. And part of what we see as progress is forgetting about those things.
It was so interesting that even uptown people who still stuck to the formalness, they allow their children to be a part of the dancing and all of that. I mean, so it's amazing that she was able to bring this to national attention. And we actually bought it, we endorsed it, and thank God for this new, in a sense, so I want to ask you therefore then, what is the value of ring generally and how did it change the whole fiber of looking at our culture?
Well, it was important, as we say, all social classes could part. But you see, we have a hierarchy. That reading can pass for entertainment. But you're not going to take the language of reading out of the
space
into the classroom. And that is the next frontier. Because it impacted the perception of what was good entertainment. We valued our culture. But it wasn't able to push us to the point where we recognize that a lot of children in Jamaica come to elementary school competent in Jamaican and English. If they're going to teach them in English, they're at a disadvantage. And so the school system needs to acknowledge Jamaican as a language of instruction.
Yes.
We see that, okay, it's all right for the children to talk Jamaican, but they're not taught to us in the language.
Yes.
Because it's not seen as a language that's important to be able to read and write in that language.
You're making a very good point, you're very good point. I really appreciate the point because what you're actually saying to us now then that although this is a paradigm that we all participated in, somehow now in our minds now and many minds of many people know that that kind of culture it was for a certain time and a certain space and place.
And that is where it belongs.
It belongs, right? And what is so interesting now then that actually everybody knows that Miss Blue poem.
Yes.
I mean,
And
by generation, I don't know the younger generation, they know Miss Blue poem.
Yes.
But all of us grew up with that Miss Blue poem.
yes.
So for poetry also,
Yes, and we have to recognize the value of the Jamaica Cultural Development Commission.
right,
The festival.
right,
Festival competition,
Sure.
speech competition.
Yeah.
It was a very important venue for
right,
young people to learn the poems, perform them. Now, the problem I have with them
right,
is that sometimes the performance is very brawling
yeah,
because there's this assumption that Jamaica, that we don't have any sense of Jamaican as a language of tenderness,
yes,
a language of reflection,
yes, yes,
a language of intimacy.
yes,
It's just
yes.
raucous.
But it's popular culture though.
Yes,
So,
it's just raucous. And so we need to recognize that there are registers
yes,
of the
yes,
language. It's not just brawling.
yes, yes. And probably that is why some persons are probably afraid of it being found because they think of this so-called rawness.
Yes, exactly.
Very, very interesting, very interesting. So her poetry now then, so she did ring ding, which we all know about, but she also wrote
Poems.
a lot of poems and how effective.
And those poems, she also had a radio program, Miss Louise Views, that Mervyn Morris did a selection of them called Anti-Rotise, where she would talk about capital issues.
Yes.
It was like a podcast.
Yes, a podcast. You're right.
You're
right, yeah.
And people used to listen to it. So she was
Rotise.
operating at several levels.
Levels.
Poetry, one of her classics. It's colonization in reverse.
Yes, yes,
Which
yes.
they're talking about Windrush,
Yes.
reverse and all of that now.
Yes.
With the Caribbean migration to the UK, although we know that black people were in the UK long before the Windrush, but
Right.
the Windrush has become a convenient marker.
Yes.
But she talked about the way in which Jamaican culture now
Yes.
is colonizing English in reverse
Yeah.
by, impacting the society.
Right.
I never forget to remember that politician, I can't remember his name, I've forgotten it deliberately, who was complaining how the English children have now been taken over by this vulgar language, and it is completely unacceptable.
Yes.
Jamaican is the street language,
Yes.
the language of youth,
Right,
the language of young people.
Right.
And so Jamaican culture has impacted the UK, as you said so long ago, colonization in reverse. And I heard a very good story about one of the libraries at a college in the UK that had to chain down the dictionary of Jamaican English because it kept walking out of the library.
Right.
So people are interested in learning because it is one line. There are so many websites trying to teach the Jamaican language and so on. And Miss Lou was a very important part of that process of helping us to recognize the value of the language, using it skillfully, and mobilizing so that young people could recognize its value.
So it's as if we could actually call Miss Lou then to some extent like the mother of what you want to call practical cultural studies. And I say that because we have one of our first undergrad degrees called ESEM.
Yes,
Entertainment and Cultural Enterprise Management. And she did all of that.
Yes, I have to big up Kamau Amen.
Yes,
because he's our first graduate cultural studies masters, and he was the one who conceived that degree program. Because he, we met, I was sitting in the parking lot and he was saying to me, we really need to have a program in this area. And I said, well, come on, why you don't go and design something? And he sat down and he told me 2 tools.
He designed it.
And
Beautiful.
It was put through the Reggae Studies unit.
Yes.
Is the one that pushed it forward.
Right. But I say that though because when I look at Miss Lou's life now, so she's a poet. She's also involved in plays.
Yes.
Yeah,
Jamaica
and
pantomime.
pantomime.
Yes.
And she actually she had her own performance,
Yes.
and she had a poem. She's in a business. She runs a business.
Yes.
And she had played also with Martha Dance.
The
Yeah,
ants,
man.
them not
The ants love you though. They love you. That's why. Yeah, me understand. They love you,
It's a
man.
beautiful setting. So the ants, them, we have to live with the ants.
Yeah, the ants,
because they're
yeah, man.
entitled to the space.
Exactly right.
Yes.
So I was saying, that the thing, everything between she and Martha Dance.
Yes.
So she was like everything into my culture.
Yes. Yes.
So she we got one of the mother of cultural studies, that
Yes.
practical applied cultural
And
studies.
this is why I say when she talks about something like colonization in the world, that is just, but not just, that is a popular equivalent of the cultural politics of colonization. You know, the fancy word that be fair is with you. At a very practical level, is no one's practicing it.
Yes.
So it
Yes.
would theorize. I
Yes.
believe in theorizing based on the culture.
And
Instead of imposing theory on the culture, I've always said, let me see what the culture, what the texts are telling me.
Yes.
And when I listen to Miss Louise,
Yes.
look at her gender politics.
Yes.
She talk about Jamaica woman punish up.
Yes.
That's how them gin also. Look how long them liberated and the man them never know. And you know,
Yes.
and she talks about that cunning.
Yes. Yes.
She said, you know, the women, you know, they go on like pantsuit is a style. And the Jamaica man don't know them wearing trousers all the while.
Well, yes.
In
Yes.
her poetry,
Yes.
the humor,
Yes.
getting at gender politics,
Yes.
getting at the dynamics of the way sometimes women have to play fool to catch
Right.
right.
Yes.
Because the insecurity of men sometimes makes it difficult for them
Yes.
to acknowledge the power of women.
Yes.
And so women have to be very subversive
Right.
in the way they
Right.
operate. And that is what Miss
Yes.
Lou was celebrating in that poem.
And my favorite one now is the one about Carson, who preached that Sunday.
Yes.
The one that's where the name of it, Yeah,
Yes, where you get a chance to
but to
preach.
preach. They laugh out.
Lash out against the people them and they use the pulpit as a weapon.
Yeah, man.
Oh man, there's so many
So many
wonderful
poems,
poems.
right? But and we have student by the way, who's actually doing a PhD on Miss Lou herself,
Yes.
to show you the length and breadth of
Of
her
her
work.
work.
But
Excellent.
just a wrap up now, but let me ask you though, in closing though, what would you say is her most significant contribution to younger students who don't know anything about Miss Lou?
I would say our most significant contribution is bringing up the language. Because in her time, that was not something that was celebrated. And she said, this said the people say the language is bad.
Yeah.
Everything about us black.
Bad.
We have bad here. We chat bad. And she said, I know these people that I go up around, they're very good people.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
talk this language. So why is it that we're going to say they are bad?
Right.
I think that is her value to help us appreciate the value of the Jamaican language, which is such a significant marker of identity, because the way you speak
Yes.
defines who you are. I mean, have to chat to something in a language
Yes.
before the program done.
Done.
I don't understand them fees.
Yes.
They talk about Jamaica and I don't know if you defend it.
Right.
And I say, as the program I done, I have to say,
Yes.
Miss Lou, to teach me the way and show it to big up
Yeah.
the language.
Yeah. Thank you so very much, Professor Emerita Carlin Cooper. This has been Cultural Studies in Focus. Take care. Walk good next time.